Next one is about cars. Essentially, like they're looking for cars, and every car seems internet connected, and they don't know what to do. What are the options? They think about removing OnStar and GM vehicles. I This is something that just needs a lot more research, and it's still unfolding. I think the biggest thing, and we've made Tesla videos talking about Teslas in particular, but I think nowadays, like back when those videos were made, it wasn't as common for new cars to have quite the extensiveness that Tesla had, but now that's not the case. Now, if you go and see any new car made in the last 2 or 3 years, it's actually going to do almost exactly the same type of data collection that Tesla does. So it's less of a Tesla issue nowadays, and it's more of just a new car issue. So anytime you're getting a new car, you just have to keep that in mind. And I guess your options are to get a car that came before these cars. Um, for example, one of the cars I was taking a look at, they never upgraded the antenna to be beyond 3G, and they're actually phasing out 3G cell towers. So it's kind of a workaround there to have kind of an offline car. Now, technically, someone could set up a 2G, 3G cell tower and impersonate it, and your car might connect to that and still submit data. But that's a very like high threat model
Uh,
thing, and I think that's not
you have the
something.
thumbs up thing.
Oh, I do.
You just did a reaction.
Hey! And also, hey everybody, how's everyone doing? But what I was gonna say though, your options are to get a car that just doesn't connect to the internet somehow, or you're gonna do something more DIY. Keep in mind there are normally opt-outs that you can find through car manufacturers, but they're normally not foolproof, and there's normally still things that it's still gonna collect. You can just try to limit it as best you can. Have you had a different experience with this, or have you found anything that kind of goes against that?
No, the car situation just seems like a pretty big disaster for me. And that Mozilla report about cars that they released
That
last year
was
really
good.
like hit everything home. I would definitely recommend checking that out, but pretty much every single manufacturer they reviewed failed miserably. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I have to get a new car. Thankfully I don't have to right now, and I'm kind of holding on to my 2009 Honda Civic for as long as I can, but eventually,
Right.
yeah, I don't know. It's a bad situation. We'll have to come up with some sort of DIY solution, but it's not something that I've put a lot of research into myself.
Right. Yeah. I think there's going to be an option at some point. It's a very early space right now. And I think someone eventually is going to put something together to help deal with this. It's not a
Yeah,
guarantee, but I have a feeling that there's going to be something out there at some point. In the meantime, just getting a car that doesn't connect to the internet is going to be your best bet. Um, or just toughing out the situation as best you can. I think it's kind of ridiculous to say you can only get a certain car in order to maintain your digital rights, right? Like I think it's kind of a very intense thing to suggest to people. I will say the one thing on my end is I am personally, I said this earlier in the stream, but sometimes, how I made the comparison of like, I'd rather trust Logitech with security over like some
hmm
random like keyboard on Amazon from a nothing company. I'm gonna feel that way a little bit towards like newer, more tech focused car companies versus legacy car companies. So personally, because people like Tesla like host hackathons and stuff, and they have clearly like some kind of infosec cybersecurity team that works for them. So I'm gonna trust more of like that security, and also given just how data connected Teslas are for the last decade plus, I'm actually pretty shocked at like the low number of things that have happened to that company from like a data breach perspective. And most issues have been patched fairly quickly, and I really like Tesla's response when researchers come out with like relay attacks and stuff. It's really cool to see how quickly they can respond to that. So I haven't actually been terribly upset with the security of Tesla, all things considered, but I'm very upset with the privacy aspect of things. So
Yeah.
something to think about. I guess some car manufacturers might actually have a better security history than others. So that could at least be a factor. So at least your data could stay with one company instead of just being breached in 3 years. Yeah. Public
It's a
transit.
bad situation.
Someone did say never turn on your car. That's an option too.
Yeah, if only.
Yeah, maybe not in the US.